Well, I want to welcome everyone to our virtual council meeting. Before we get started, we all know the circumstances that we're facing with the COVID-19 situation, and it's caused us to rethink and react differently the way we do business. And so I just want to welcome everybody in on this virtual meeting and ask that you would just bear with us, as this is the first time that we've attempted to do this. We want to continue to maintain transparency with the public. And so, again, we just thank you all for the opportunity to serve this community. Councilman Ray, do you have an agenda?
I do, Mr. President.
Okay, let's go through the agenda. Under communications, item number 1.
Receive and file.
Number 2.
Receive and file.
Number 3.
Receive and file.
Number 4.
Receive and file.
Number 5.
Receive and file.
6.
Receive and file.
7.
Receive and file.
8.
Receive and file.
9.
Receive and file.
10.
Receive and file.
11.
Receive and file.
12.
Receive and file.
13.
Receive and file.
14.
Receive and file.
Under reports, number 15.
Receive and file.
16.
Receive and file.
17.
Receive and file.
Under public comments, normally this is where we would invite our speakers to come forward. Clerk, do we have any public comments?
We did not receive any public comments today.
Okay, thank you. We'll continue with the agenda. Councilman Ray, under ordinances, number 1.
Suspend and consent.
Number 2.
Suspend and consent.
Number 3.
Suspend and consent.
Number 4.
Suspend and consent.
Excuse me, Mr. President.
Yes, Councilwoman Turner.
I'd like to request a separate vote on ordinance number 4, 5, 2058, 2059, and 2069.
So you are requesting a separate vote, ordinance number 4, ordinance number 5, ordinance 20-58, 2059, and ordinance 2069. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, Councilman Ray, did you get that?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Councilwoman Turner. Ordinance number 5.
Suspend and consent with a separate vote.
Number 6.
Suspend and consent.
7.
Suspend and consent.
8.
Amend and suspend.
9.
Suspend and consent.
10.
Suspend and consent.
11.
Suspend and consent.
12.
Suspend and consent.
13.
Suspend and consent.
14.
Suspend and consent.
15.
Suspend and consent.
Ordinance number 16.
Suspend and consent.
17.
Suspend and consent.
18.
Suspend and consent.
19.
Suspend and consent.
20.
Suspend and consent.
21.
Suspend and consent.
22.
Suspend and consent.
23.
Suspend and consent.
24.
Suspend and consent.
25.
Suspend and consent.
26.
Suspend and consent.
27.
Suspend and consent.
28.
Suspend and consent.
29,
suspend the consent,
ordinance number 30,
suspend the consent,
31.
move the planning commission,
Under second readings, ordinance 20-58,
suspend the consent with a separate vote,
under ordinance 2059,
suspend the consent with a separate vote,
ordinance 2069,
suspend the consent with a separate vote,
under signed out of committee, ordinance 2005,
move to building and grounds committee,
ordinance 2060,
move to CPED committee,
ordinance 20-61,
move to CPED committee,
ordinance 2063,
off agenda,
ordinance 2064.
off agenda.
All right, let's go back through one more time from the top before we officially start the meeting. Under communications, number 1,
Receive and file,
2,
receive and file,
3,
receive and file,
4,
receive and file,
5,
receive and file,
6,
receive and file,
7,
receive and file,
8,
receive and file,
9,
receive and file,
10,
receive and file,
11,
receive and file,
12,
receive and file,
13,
receive and file,
14.
receive and file,
Under reports, 15,
receive and file,
16,
receive and file,
17,
receive and file,
under ordinances, number 1,
suspend the consent,
number 2,
suspend the consent,
number 3,
suspend the consent,
number 4,
suspend the consent with a separate vote,
number 5,
suspend the consent with a separate vote,
number 6,
suspend the consent,
number 7,
suspend the consent,
number 8,
amend and suspend,
number 9,
suspend the consent,
10,
suspend the consent,
11,
suspend the consent,
12,
suspend the consent,
13,
suspend the consent,
14,
suspend the consent,
15,
suspend the consent,
ordinance number 16,
suspend the consent,
17,
suspend the consent,
18,
suspend the consent,
19,
consent,
20,
suspend the consent,
21,
suspend the consent,
22,
suspend the consent,
23,
suspend the consent,
24,
suspend the consent,
25,
suspend the consent,
26,
suspend the consent,
27,
suspend the consent,
28,
suspend the consent,
29,
suspend the consent,
30,
suspend the consent,
31.
move to planning commission,
Under second readings, ordinance 20-58,
separate vote, suspend the consent,
ordinance 2059,
separate vote, suspend the consent,
ordinance 2069,
separate vote with suspend the consent,
under signed out of committee, ordinance 2005,
move to building and grounds committee,
under ordinance 2060,
move to CPED committee,
ordinance 2061,
move to CPED committee,
ordinance 2063,
off the agenda,
Ordinance 2064.
off the agenda.
Okay. Are you ready to go directly into the meeting?
I believe so.
All right. I don't know if you guys can see the gavel, but this meeting on Wednesday, May 6, 2020 is now called to order. Clerk, call the roll if everyone on council can unmute so we can hear you that you're here.
Adamsat,
Here.
Davis,
Here.
Hughes,
Here.
McNally,
Here.
Oliver,
Here.
Ray,
Here.
Turner,
Here.
and Kitchen.
Here. At this time, is there a motion, Mr. Ray, to dispense with the reading of the minutes for the March 4th and March 16th, 2020 meeting and approve the journal?
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to suspend of the reading of the minutes and approve as written for meetings on March 4th, 2020 and March 16th, 2020 special meeting.
Second.
Okay, motion carries. Councilman Ray, is there a motion to suspend the rules of council to allow the body to conduct this business and operate within a virtual meeting format pursuant to House Bill 197?
Yes, Mr. President, I make a motion to suspend the rules of council as to allow the body to conduct its business and operate within a virtual meeting format pursuant to House Bill 197.
Second.
Second, is there a roll call vote on accepting the motion?
Adamsat,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Hughes,
Yes.
McNally,
Yes.
Oliver,
Yes.
Ray,
Yes.
Turner.
Yes.
7 yeas, 0 nays.
The motion carries. Under communications, item number 1, Councilman Ray.
Mr. President, under communications and reports, I move that items 1 through 17 be received and filed.
Second.
Motion carries. Under ordinances, item number 1,
Authorizing the Board of Control of the City of Youngstown to approve the purchase of water bill envelopes for the Youngstown Water Department.
Councilman Ray.
Mr. President, I move to suspend the rules of council and place ordinance items 1 through 3, 6 through 7, and 9 through 30 before council for passage pursuant to the consent agenda.
Second.
Roll call on the suspension.
Adamsat,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Hughes,
Yes.
McNally,
Yes.
Oliver,
Yes.
Ray,
Yes.
Turner.
Yes.
7 yeas, 0 nays.
The rules of council have been suspended. Are there any other remarks? Roll call on the passage.
Adamsat,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Hughes,
Yes.
McNally,
Yes.
Oliver,
Yes.
Ray,
Yes.
and Turner.
Yes.
7 yeas for the passage.
Ordinances 1 through 3, 6 and 7, 9 through 30 have all been passed. Under ordinances, item number 4.
Authorizing the Board of Control of the City of Youngstown to waive formal bidding pursuant to section 735.051.
Councilman Ray.
Mr. President, I move to suspend the rules of council and place ordinance number 4 before council for passage pursuant to the consent agenda.
Roll
Second.
call. Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you, Lauren. Roll call on the suspension.
Adams,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Hughes,
Yes.
McNally,
Yes.
Oliver,
Yes.
Ray,
Yes.
Turner.
Yes.
7 yeas for the suspension.
Ordinance number 4 has been passed.
Mr. President, rules
I'm
have only
sorry,
been
the rules,
suspended.
the rules have been suspended. Roll call on the passage, I'm sorry.
Adams,
Yes.
Davis,
No.
Hughes,
Yes.
McNally,
Yes.
Oliver, Councilman Oliver,
Yes.
Ray,
Yes.
and Turner.
No.
5 yeas, 2 nays.
Ordinance number 4 has been passed with the 5-2 vote. Ordinance number 5.
Authorizing the Board of Control of the City of Youngstown to waive formal bidding pursuant to section 735.01.
Councilman Ray.
Mr. President, I move to suspend the rules of council and place ordinance number 5 before council for passage pursuant to the consent agenda.
Second.
Roll call on the suspension.
Adams,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Hughes,
Yes.
McNally,
Yes.
Oliver,
Yes.
Ray,
Yes.
Turner.
Yes.
7 yeas for the suspension.
The rules of council have been suspended. Are there any further remarks? Roll call on passage.
Adams,
Yes.
Davis,
No.
Hughes,
Yes.
McNally,
Yes.
Oliver,
I already know how you felt about my.
Yes.
Ray,
Yes.
and Turner.
No.
5 yeas, 2 nays.
Ordinance number 5 has been passed with a 5-2 vote. Under ordinances, item number 8.
Authorizing the Board of Control of the City of Youngstown to advertise for bids and enter into a contract with the lowest and best bidder for the removal and disposal of dead animals.
Councilman Ray.
Mr. President, I move to amend ordinance number 8 to replace the last sentence at the end, at the cost of the initial contract, to strike that language and replace it with not to exceed 25,000 annually.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any remarks? Roll call on the amendment.
Adams,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Hughes,
Yes.
McNally,
Yes.
Oliver,
Yes.
Ray,
Yes.
Turner.
Yes.
7 yeas, 0 nays.
Ordinance number 8 has been amended. Is there a motion, Councilman Ray?
Mr. President, I move to suspend the rules of council and place the amended item number 8 before council for passage pursuant to the consent agenda.
Second.
Roll call on the suspension.
Adams,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Hughes,
Yes.
McNally,
Yes.
Oliver,
Yes.
Ray,
Yes.
Turner.
Yes.
7 yeas for the suspension.
The rules of council have been suspended. Are there any other remarks? Roll call on the passage.
Adams,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Hughes,
Yes.
McNally,
Yes.
Oliver,
Yes.
Ray,
Yes.
and Turner.
Yes.
7 yeas for the passage.
Ordinance number 8 has been passed as amended. Under ordinances, item number 31, Councilman Ray. I'm sorry, clerk.
Changing the zone classification of the properties located at 111 Park Avenue and 107 Park Avenue, city lot numbers 12931 and 12932.
Councilman Ray.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to move this to the planning commission.
Second.
Ordinance number 31 has been moved to the planning commission. Under second readings, ordinance 20-58.
Rescinding ordinance in its entirety, ordinance number 18-207 passed by Youngstown City Council on July 31st, 2018, which authorized the Board of Control to enter into an enterprise zone agreement with Youngstown Tool and Die for 10 years, 75% abatement for real property taxes.
Councilman Ray.
Mr. President, I move to suspend the rules of council and place ordinance 20-58 before council for passage pursuant to the agenda.
Second.
Roll call on the suspension.
Adamsat,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Hughes,
Yes.
McNally,
Yes.
Oliver,
Yes.
Ray,
Yes.
Turner.
Yes.
7 yeas for the suspension.
The rules of council have been suspended. Are there any other remarks? Roll call on the passage.
Adamsat,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Hughes,
Yes.
McNally,
Yes.
Oliver,
Yes.
Ray,
Yes.
Turner.
No.
6 yeas, 1 nay.
Ordinance 20-58 has been passed. Under second readings, ordinance 20-59.
Amending ordinance number 11-395 passed by Youngstown City Council on December 21st, 2011, which authorized the Board of Control of the City of Youngstown to enter into an enterprise zone agreement with Exterran Energy Solutions LP and EX Ohio LLC.
Councilman Ray.
Mr. President, I move to suspend the rules of council and place ordinance 20-59 before council for passage pursuant to the agenda.
Second.
Roll call on the suspension.
Adamsat,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Hughes,
Yes.
McNally,
Yes.
Oliver,
Yes.
Ray,
Yes.
and Turner.
Yes.
7 yeas for the suspension.
The rules of council have been suspended. Are there any other remarks? Roll call on the passage.
Adamsat,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Hughes,
Yes.
McNally,
Yes.
Oliver,
Yes.
Ray,
Yes.
Turner.
No.
6 yeas, 1 nay.
Ordinance 20-59 has been passed. Under second readings, ordinance 20-69.
Authorizing the Board of Control of the City of Youngstown to negotiate and enter into an agreement with Youngstown Tool and Die and RE Pool LLC for the property located at 2572 Salt Springs Road for the 5-year extension of the enterprise zone agreement at said location.
Councilman Ray.
Mr. President, I move to suspend the rules of council and place ordinance 20-69 before council for passage pursuant to the agenda.
Second.
Roll call on the suspension.
Adamsat,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Hughes,
Yes.
McNally,
Yes.
Oliver,
Yes.
Ray,
Yes.
and Turner.
Yes.
7 yeas for the suspension.
The rules of council have been suspended. Are there any other remarks? Roll call on the passage.
Adamsat,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Hughes,
Yes.
McNally,
Yes.
Oliver,
Yes.
Ray,
Yes.
Turner.
No.
6 yeas, 1 nay.
Ordinance 2069 has been passed. Under signed out of committee, ordinance 2005.
Authorizing the Board of Control of the City of Youngstown to advertise for bids and enter into a contract with the lowest and best bidder for the renovation and construction of the second floor of the City Hall building.
Councilman Ray,
Mr. President, I move that ordinance 20-05 be moved to the Building and Grounds Committee.
Second.
ordinance 20-05 has been moved to Building and Grounds Committee. Under signed out of committee, ordinance 20-60.
Amending section 1 of ordinance number 19-47 passed by Youngstown City Council on March 20th, 2019, which established the master salary ordinance for the city of Youngstown. The amendment being to amend the salary for position number 2601-1001, Community Development Director.
Councilman Ray,
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion that ordinance 20-60 be moved to the CPED Committee.
Second.
ordinance 20-60 has been moved to the Community Planning Economic Development Committee. Under signed out of committee, ordinance 20-61.
Amending section 1 of ordinance 19-47 passed by Youngstown City Council on March 20th, 2019, which established the master salary ordinance for the city of Youngstown. The amendment being to amend the salary and title for position number 1901-4000, Deputy Director of Planning.
Councilman Ray,
Mr. President, I move that ordinance 20-61 be moved to the CPED Committee.
Second.
ordinance 20-61 has also been moved to the Community Planning and Economic Development Committee. Ordinance 20-63 off the agenda. Ordinance 20-64 is off the agenda. Ladies and gentlemen, that does conclude our meeting, but prior to us leaving, is there any further remarks or comment from the first ward? Councilman Oliver?
Yes, Mr. President, I just want to ask a question to whoever can answer, be it Mike, Jeff, or the mayor. Since the grass cutting piece wasn't passed as an emergency measure, when exactly will the grass cutting be able to begin? Is that going to be 30 days from now or longer, or how's that going to work?
Mr. Limbian, take that question for me. I think the emergency, if it's not emergency measure, there is a time delay, and that's the concern that we have with where we are in the season.
Mr. Limbian, are you on the call? Jeff? Okay, I'm not sure if he's here.
He might be on mute.
All right, Councilman Oliver, does that address your question?
Yeah, so basically we're not going to be able to start cutting grass right now, right?
Well,
Mayor?
as it stands, those that we put on for legislation today would not be authorized to do so. So that's the delay. So that's why we wanted to make sure that we had some folks that could go out and take care of these complaints that we have. So we can't do it for some time.
Thank you, Mayor.
At this rate. I mean, if there's other concerns that the council have, but at this rate, the way we wanted to do it, it's not.
Okay, thank you.
All right, anything from the second ward, Councilman Hughes?
No, sir. Thank you for giving me the opportunity, though.
Yes, sir, you're welcome. Third Ward, Councilwoman Turner. Any remarks?
No remarks.
Thank you. Fourth Ward, Councilman Ray?
I'm not sure if the police chief is still with us, but I want to thank them for the work they did in the, with the drag racing issues we were having. They did an excellent job at addressing that issue, and hopefully it'll end the problem. So thank you.
Thank you. Sixth Ward, Councilwoman Davis?
Oh, thank you. You bypassed Lauren.
Oh, I'm sorry. Nope. Councilwoman Davis, wait, Lauren, Fifth Ward. I'm sorry. I was looking right at you too.
That's okay. I don't have any comments at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Sixth Ward, Councilwoman Davis.
Yes, I just want to say to our citizens, those of you who are listening, to please continue to stay home, stay safe. Don't go out unless it's absolutely necessary. If you go out, please wear masks for yourself and for the rest of us as well. So please continue to shelter. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Seventh Ward, Councilwoman Adams Act.
Thank you, Mr. President. My concern was about the grass as well. How that was going to affect our grass cutting, and as it was expressed at the finance meeting, that it would now be a higher cost because then we'll have to get the brush hogs out. Just so residents are understanding of that there's going to be a bit of a delay on that now.
Thank you. Okay, Clerk, do you have any final thoughts?
Not at this time. When you guys formally adjourn, then I will make the statement and we can close this meeting out.
Okay, is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. Second.
Okay.
And what
Okay.
time? We are
The
adjourned.
meeting
at-
has at 6:05 p.m.
Thank you. This concludes the live broadcast of the Youngstown City Council, the main kitchen presiding. You can now leave the meeting.
Thank you all.
Right.